Hey everybody, welcome back to Celebrity Politics, the show. I'm Danielle.
And from behind the camera, I'm Josh. We've taken some time off this summer, but politics has not.
So join us with our co-hosts, Richard, Rachel, and Jeff, while we discuss the top 10 political stories that you may have missed while you're at camp. So in mid-August, Trudeau prorogued Parliament after promising in the 2015 campaign that I will never prorogue Parliament to escape a scandal. Question is whether or not he is actually in fact trying to escape a scandal, which was the WE scandal at that time, as it was in committee, and documents were being requested by the committee and it was under investigation, and there was a number of hearings on that. So the question was whether or not he prorogued Parliament to shut down the committee inquiry, or whether or not it was in fact to hit the reset button on the economy. And he had said that when they initially delivered their throne speech after the election, there was no mention of COVID because COVID wasn't happening, so the economic recovery plan wasn't in place. So he apparently is using this prorogation to hit the reset button and give the government a chance to have a confidence vote on whether or not they believe in the government's mandate moving forward as part of the economic recovery package, and plan to move forward in a mid to post-COVID era, I suppose. So he prorogued. The House is due to return on September 23rd, and then we'll see a throne speech shortly thereafter. Throne speeches, as we all know, are confidence votes. So depending on which way the opposition parties fall on that, we could see ourselves in a fall election, which could see a number of things, because we do have a couple of new leaders coming into the fray as well. So, guys, what do you think?
I don't know that we're in much danger of a fall election. Aaron O'Toole, the new Conservative leader, has said he's not going to push for a confidence vote. I think that leads a lot to he's brand new, he's untested, he wants time to court the voting base and get favor in Canada before an actual election, because if he were to do it now, there's no guarantee of victory.
Do you think any of the parties are ready, Jeff?
No.
I think that's the big problem, right? I think O'Toole would push for an election if the NDP was stronger. The Conservatives can't win in Canada without a split left. So, the NDP has no money. They can't run a campaign. The Conservatives are well aware of that. They don't have the money to overcome that. I think right now they're tied in the polls, but a tie is horrible for the Conservatives because of the amount of votes that they get in Alberta and the West. It's just not an efficient vote. But as scandals go, we're putting the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable, because the throne speech proroguing is far more of a scandal than the WE bullshit.
Yeah.
The WE scandal is, a scandal's bad when the more information comes out, the less people care. It's a useless scandal. It's so overblown. It's absurd. It just sounded good when it first launched because it had $900 million, which makes it sound like a bigger deal. But when you dig into it, it wasn't like they just were handing cash out the door to their buddies. There was actually things that was being spent on and all of that kind of crap. But the proroguing, the problem is the Conservatives can't call them on it, because the Conservatives, everybody that's in the Conservative Party currently that's in any kind of leadership role, helped prorogue a Parliament to do the exact same bloody thing.
Twice.
Everything that is an issue and is a scandal, the other parties are so bloody dirty in it that they can't call it out in any kind of viable manner.
I just think too, it goes back to the whole, do as I say, not as I do thing, right? And we know politicians promise the moon, the sunshine, and the stars, and oftentimes deliver none of it. But, we had this clean-cut Trudeau come in, and in 2015, and I quote, "We will not resort to legislative tricks to avoid scrutiny." And that was what he had said after Harper had prorogued back in 2009 it was presumed that it was to shut down committee on the treatment of Afghan detainees. So now we have this issue. Trudeau's being investigated, and yeah, we might not be that big of a deal, but it seems a little coincidental that you're proroguing Parliament when your government's coming under fire from the opposition parties for handing out a pretty substantial contract to somebody that you have close ties to. So again, he's doing all of the things that he said he was never going to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. How does that fit into the whole political bubble right now? Like, does it matter? What matters more, the proroguing, the reason why he prorogued? Do you think we're gonna have it's?
Yeah, this is almost the win theory of politics, where you just kind of keep throwing it back to your challengers or your opponents and saying, "Go ahead, call an election. I know you're weak right now, so do it." Right? And you run it and you run it and you run it till they finally call you on it. And you saw how horrible the NDP did with that in Ontario. That Andrea Horwath never called her out and never forced an election, to the point that who was I talking about again? I can't remember her name now. And Singh's in the same position right now. He can't really do anything. He knows he can't swing back.
You could see that when the Bloc started saber rattling, right? He was like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah.
Like,
we don't want an election. We don't have a
give
dime.
us 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got four things that we want from you, and you'll be okay. Like, as soon as
it's the political gamesmanship right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's why I said the proroguing is so much more of a big deal, but nobody can call them on it because the NDP can't afford to call them on it. The Bloc doesn't really care because they're not going to do any better than they currently are. So they need to saber rattle to stay relevant. And then the Conservative Party knows that they don't have a hope with a split elect or without a split electorate. So, and they have no bloody right to come out and say you can't prorogue Parliament to disrupt and try and force an election. Like this is, they're taking Stephen Harper's playbook here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's happened long enough ago that they can pretend it didn't happen.
Oh, there's that.
Conservative playbook.
Mm-hmm.
So the big question then is, are we in danger of a fall election after the throne speech?
I don't think so. But what's the throne speech going to accomplish, and what's it going to change? Like, where are we going to be after said throne speech?
Good shot at a UBI. That's the big thing that's been dropped. You have a new finance minister that's going to take things likely in a new direction. Bill Morneau or Bill.
I already forget his name.
Just Bill.
Bill was as memorable as the Ontario NDP leader. I can't remember a finance minister in Canada's history that had such a low profile. But he was the guy that was driving the ship on the finance side. And you got Freeland now, who's, the leader in waiting from all appearances. And you've got a very good former Bank of Canada manager that has just moved back to Canada that could easily be the next finance minister and may very well be the guy that's driving policy right now.
So, few things could change.
So I think the Liberals are probably in the best long-term shape. They've got a backbench that's ready to go. If they got to drop Trudeau, they can do it tomorrow. And they've got a star candidate ready to shoot that seems to have general acceptance.
I think this is one of the first times too that we've actually seen like a leader in waiting, really, like a clearly defined leader in waiting from one of the major political parties, right? Like, so I think too.
The closest was Paul Martin, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
He just didn't have the support of the Prime Minister to do it.
Mm-hmm. But she's like, to me anyway, she's become the anointed one for the Liberals.
Before we move on, just want to ask you guys, will the throne speech actually matter?
Yep. I think it's going to be a major change in policy. I think this is going to be a big swing for the fences, throne speech.
So we'll see some big changes. Won't trigger an election. Business as usual for the next year or two.
Possibly.
We'll see. It
New
could be a
business as
very
usual.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like this is the come out of COVID throne speech, right? So it's going to be a lot of spending. It's going to be a lot of things happening. You know, is it going to make a big political swing? No, but is it going to make a big difference to everyday Canadians? Probably.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Those are some great points. Now we're going to pass this over to you. Does this matter? Is it important? Tell us why or why not in the comments below.
Be sure to like and subscribe. And stay tuned for the next installment in Celebrity Politics, the show's top 10 political stories you missed this summer while at camp.